Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. LORA is one of those weapons that sits at the intersection of sleek engineering and strategic messaging, a portable but potent long-range precision strike system developed in Israel that has captured the attention of militaries and analysts worldwide. In plain terms, it's a quasi-ballistic, solid propellant missile built to hit high-value targets far beyond the front line with surgical accuracy. What makes LORA interesting is not just its raw numbers but the mix of mobility, concealment and terminal guidance that lets an operator deliver a decisive blow from unexpected platforms, trucks, ships, even cargo containers. At its core, LORA was designed to give a theater commander the ability to strike strategic targets, bridges, airfields, command nodes, ammunition depots, without relying on aircraft or overt ballistic missile silos. The system packages a high-performance rocket motor, an inertial navigation package augmented by GNSS, and a terminal guidance seeker that can refine aim in the final seconds. That combination produces a reported circular error probable measured in the single digits to low tens of meters, which is the difference between blasting a general area and taking out a specific hardened target. Physically, the missile is compact enough to be carried on a mobile truck launcher or concealed inside a standard shipping container. That latter capability, the containerized launcher concept, is more than a marketing point, it's a force multiplier. A system that can be transported as ordinary cargo blurs the line between civilian and military logistics, complicating an adversary's targeting and surveillance calculus. LORA's developers have explicitly spoken about maritime and containerized launch options, and real-world demonstrations and promotional material underscore how concealment and mobility are part of the weapon's operational concept. Command and control for a precision, long-range strike like this hinges on intelligence and timing. You need accurate geolocation, reliable communications, and an intelligence picture that tells you which target to strike and when. That's where LORA's terminal guidance pays off. After a long boost phase and mid-course navigation, the missile can use TV, infrared or other terminal sensors to identify and home on a particular object within a confined area. This is important because at theater ranges, hundreds of kilometers, targets can move, and situational awareness is rarely perfect. The ability to lock on in the final phase increases the chance of mission success and reduces collateral damage. Operational use and export history matter when you evaluate credibility. LORA has been exported and reportedly used in conflicts, which turns it from an experimental capability into an operational tool with a track record. Public reports and imagery over the past several years show that the system is not just a brochure item, it has been fielded and, in at least one conflict, employed against infrastructure targets. That combat experience informs both doctrine and buyer confidence. When weapons are tested in anger, they reveal strengths and limitations that exercises sometimes miss. A short, practical paragraph here. Strategically, what makes LORA disruptive is how it changes escalation math. A conventional adversary thinking in terms of air superiority or missile defenses must reckon with a threat that can be launched from unexpected directions and from platforms that look innocuous until they fire. Containerized or ship-based deployments create dilemmas for defenders. Deny access to ports and shipping lanes and you may disrupt vital commerce, ignore the possibility and you risk strategic surprise. Moreover, the speed of decision-making compresses when high-precision strikes are feasible at standoff ranges. Political and military leaders face tougher choices about early warning, dispersal, and redundancy of critical assets. From a technical perspective, the missile's performance envelope is notable. Depending on configuration, it's reported to reach ranges from roughly the low hundreds of kilometers to as much as around 400 kilometers, with weights and warhead options that vary by variant. That flexibility lets operators prioritize payload or reach depending on the mission. A longer-range version trades off some warhead weight for standoff, while shorter ranges allow heavier munitions. This trade space is standard engineering practice, but LORA's modularity and availability of different warheads, unitary, penetrator, and submunition types in public reporting, give commanders choices based on target type and rules of engagement. Accuracy claims for weapons like this are always worth scrutinizing. Reported figures, commonly a SEP in the neighborhood of 10 meters, are achievable when GNSS signals are available and terminal guidance functions correctly. But real combat environments often degrade navigation and terminal imagery. GPS jamming, adverse weather, smoke, and countermeasures can all reduce effectiveness. So while LORA's architecture is designed to be resilient, inertial navigation plus GNSS plus terminal sensors, operators still plan for contingencies, redundant intel sources, decoys, and multimodal targeting feeds to ensure the missile homes on the intended objective. Tactically, LORA is a tool for shaping the battlefield in ways that are asymmetric and precise. If you can reliably remove a command node, knock out an airfield, or deny a major bridge at the start of a campaign, you force the adversary to disperse and complicate logistics. It complements air power rather than replaces it. LORA can handle some missions faster or more stealthily than manned aircraft, while aircraft retain flexibility for dynamic targeting, patrol, and ISR. For ground commanders, having a long-range precision strike asset on call expands options without immediately escalating to strategic ballistic arsenals. That's why several militaries with regional defense needs find the LORA concept appealing. There's also an industrial and diplomatic dimension. Israel's defense industry markets systems like LORA not just on technical merit but on the basis of integrated support, training, local production, and sustainment. Several states have pursued local partnerships or license production, which ties technology transfer to geopolitical relationships. Selling a system that can alter regional power balances is as much a political decision as a procurement one. Potential buyers weigh the deterrent value and the diplomatic consequences of introducing longer-range precision into their neighborhood. We should talk about variants because they show how designers broaden the system's applicability. The original ground-launched LORA is complemented by what companies describe as naval and air-launched variants. Air LORA, an air-delivered form showcased in recent years, changes the calculus again. Carriage by fast jets or bombers allows rapid response and extended reach without depending on local launch platforms. Naval adaptations emphasize concealment and unexpected littoral strike options. Each variant introduces unique integration challenges, avionics, carriage, and launch procedures for aircraft, corrosion, stabilization and targeting for sea, but they widen the tactical menu significantly. When evaluating a precision long-range weapon, it's also essential to consider countermeasures and defenses. Ballistic and quasi-ballistic trajectories compress flight time and make interception more difficult than for subsonic cruise missiles, but they are not invulnerable. Layered air and missile defenses that combine early warning radars, theater ballistic missile interceptors, and point defenses can reduce the effectiveness of such systems. Equally, electronic warfare aimed at GNSS signals and terminal sensors complicates guidance. That arms race dynamic, better seekers versus better jammers, faster interceptors versus more maneuverable trajectories, is the natural environment for weapons like LORA. Legally and ethically, long-range precision strikes bring both advantages and responsibilities. Precision reduces collateral damage risk, which is a legal and moral plus, but the extended reach also raises questions about escalation and threshold. Striking deep inside an adversary's territory, even at military facilities, can be perceived as strategic, provoking political blowback. Rules of engagement, target validation, and intelligence certainty become paramount to avoid unintended consequences. From a humanitarian perspective, the most defensible use is narrowly focused strikes on clear military objectives with robust verification. From a strategic perspective, judicious employment means integrating such strikes into an overall campaign that aims to minimize civilian harm and strategic miscalculation. Budget and procurement realities matter too. Advanced precision strike systems are not cheap, and buyers must consider lifecycle costs, integration, training, logistics, and upgrades. Public reports on unit prices and program costs vary, and while the per missile price is only one component, the supporting infrastructure can be the larger investment. For many countries, the attraction lies in buying a capability that multiplies deterrence without requiring large air fleets or permanent bases. For suppliers, the commercial market for such systems is competitive and tied to geopolitical alignments. If you're a defense analyst trying to place LORA in context, the comparison set is instructive. Short-range ballistic systems and long-range precision rockets from other countries share many design choices, and each offers a slightly different balance of range, payload, accuracy and launch flexibility. What distinguishes LORA is the publicly emphasized combination of concealment containerization, a maritime option, and an air-launched variant, a portfolio approach that addresses multiple use cases from deterrence to strike. That versatility is useful to smaller states that need strategic reach without large standing forces. Finally, thinking about the future, weapons like LORA will continue to push investments into countermeasures, situational awareness and legal frameworks. Expect adversaries to harden key infrastructure, disperse logistics, and improve passive defenses. Expect suppliers to refine seekers, increase maneuverability and improve survivability against jamming. And expect debates over export controls and maritime rules to intensify as containerized and maritime launch concepts complicate peacetime norms. For strategists and citizens alike, the important takeaway is that precision, mobility and concealment together reshape what it means to hold territory and protect national assets in the 21st century. So that's a rounded look at LORA, a compact but powerful long-range artillery missile system that blends precision, mobility and unconventional deployment options. Whether you're interested in the engineering, the strategy, or the geopolitics, weapons like this are worth watching because they change both how wars might be fought and how states think about deterrence. If you want a deeper dive into any particular aspect, the terminal seeker tech, the containerized launch concept, or how air-launched variants change doctrine, tell me which thread you want pulled and I'll go into the details.